Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alessandro Benzer, and today we're going to talk about SAP security monitoring and how we can implement SAP threat detection or SAP threat and vulnerability detection in under 3 days. I'm very excited to welcome Mark Spitzer. Mark Spitzer is from our Germany team and is our cybersecurity head. He leads our cybersecurity team, is the expert in that field. And Mark prepared a very exciting presentation and then also a live demo in the system to really show you guys how that can be done and how we can very efficiently implement a very, very reliable and swift solution. Just a couple of things housekeeping wise. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to use the chat, whether you're on LinkedIn, on Twitter or X or on YouTube. Just type your questions into the chat. We'll see it. We'll either answer them throughout the webinar, throughout the live session, or then towards the end. With that, if there's any other questions, use the chat box, and then I'll give it over to Mark. And Mark, take it away.
Yeah. Thank you, Alessandro. So welcome, everybody. My name is Mark Spitzer. I'm working for Xiting since 11 years now. Started as a consultant and trainer for SAP security. Yeah, since the beginning, did a lot of authorization topics as well as audit topics, did a lot of redesigns in S4 for technical users. So yeah, had a lot of experience since nearly 11 years now. And since some years, I'm leading the consulting department cybersecurity here at Xiting. And we have some interesting solutions for SAP threat detection and SAP vulnerability management. And I'm going to show you today a little bit what we're doing there and how we can implement it very quickly and very flexible as well. And so we can also build a proof of concept in your landscape, very quickly. And most of the times in under 3 days, we're able to do that. And that's the topic for today. I will also later on jump a little bit into the system, show you a little bit how attacks can happen and maybe also how you can detect them. And let's start with some slides. Yeah, as I said, topic for today, how to implement SAP threat detection and vulnerability detection in under 3 days with our solution or solution suite. And let's start right into it. So if those who don't know us, just a very short introduction. We are founded in Switzerland, actually, in 2008. And since then, from ex-SAP employees who had good and cool ideas about SAP authorization, SAP security, had some good tooling there to enhance and make the cleanup and stay clean of authorizations more efficient. And since then we expanded a lot to Germany, of course, where I also started in 2012. And since then as well, United Kingdom, United States, and Romania. And we are 150 employees now. I think half of them are consultants and in that area. And you will later on see also a little bit what areas we are covering for consulting as well for tools we developed in SAP security. So let's go forward. Also, if you know us, you know that we are very partnered with SAP as well. So we are SAP Gold partner nearly since the beginning of Xiting. And it's very important for us as a software house and software developer. We are certified as well, especially now with cloud platforms we are trying to deploy as well with our customers. So we are also certified for RISE with SAP, for example, as well, of course, as the standard solutions, S4HANA, S4HANA Cloud, and so on. So for our units and our tools, we have nearly, I think, all major SAP security topics covered. So, of course, we came from authorization management, and nowadays we cover a lot of topics there. So, for example, of course, S4HANA migration and S4HANA greenfield approaches, how to build authorizations there, how to redesign your authorizations, SU24 compliant, and the whole process there. So to test authorizations, to go live with authorizations in an efficient way. And also a major topic nowadays is license analysis for SAP S4HANA. As you may know, license are also now, especially for S4 HANA, managed by authorizations or measured by authorizations. And we can analyze those and, more importantly, simulate how role development will impact your licenses as well. So this is quite interesting, quite new. And of course, we can go through the other topics as well, but we will, for today, focus on cybersecurity topics, security monitoring topics. So we will talk about real-time sub-security monitoring and threat detection. This will be our main topic today, but also for us at Xiting, it's very important to really have a complete scope of your sub-security. So also vulnerability analysis. So if your systems are, of course, very vulnerable, it's very easy for attackers to get into them. And then the best threat detection doesn't really help you. So of course, vulnerability analysis and compliance fulfillment is also a topic you need to monitor in your systems. And I will give you a little bit about insight about how to do both of those topics with our tooling and monitor those topics as well. To really make sure that your systems stay clean and stay safe against attacks, cyber attacks. So, a little bit of background, a little bit of evolution of sub-security monitoring. This is also a little bit of a personal thing, but as well for Xiting. We started right in the beginning, at the first stage, where I, or also colleagues of mine, were really consulting customers with handbooks, with guidelines, with security concepts to really harden their systems. And it was quite a tedious work to do, right? To really come up with manually come up with those things. And maybe you had some best practices already established, but in the beginning, 2008, 2010, it was quite a blank space there. So this is where we started. And then, of course, you try to come up with distributed monitoring. So we had something like a security audit log where we tried to locally monitor tasks as well as to look for vulnerabilities in the system, but as well as was system by system, and it was quite tedious manual work. And this is also something we left behind very quickly for the better part. And we came up then with tooling in, I think, 2014 was the start of the so-called security architect, which is here the third stage here in the slide. It's central compliance or central vulnerability monitoring, where you have a tool which you can connect to all your satellite systems and then can do vulnerability analysis and compliance analysis according, of course, to your handbooks, to your guidelines. So those are, of course, topics which are not irrelevant, but you can import all your guidelines and handbooks to your security architect with all the best practices you developed, and can check for those in a manual, in an automatic, and especially central way. So you don't have to do it manually, and you don't have to do it locally, but a security architect will do it for you in the background in periodic times or automatically in defined times, and will give you results either via reporting, so you get alerts via email, for example, with security reports, or you can, of course, also look at your dashboards. We now have multiple dashboards in SAP GUI, in BTP as Fiori dashboards, for example. So you can use the tool and the process of your choice there. And this is also a topic we'll talk a little bit about later on. And the fourth stage, which we are at now, is the real-time security monitoring. So to really enhance on the third stage, to make it not in periodic ways, so to say hourly or daily or monthly, but really give you also feedback in real time. This is now the stage we are at. So at the moment, we try to develop solutions and also implement solutions in your landscape to really connect all your satellite systems, either on-prem, any-prem, or also cloud solutions, to a central monitoring system to analyze for threats, but also for vulnerability and compliance topics, and to alert you in real time when stuff is going the wrong way. So either if you have some vulnerability issues, compliance issues, or if there are some strange behavior in the systems, attacks going on in your systems. So we really try to get those information in real time. And then there are multiple processes you can take. We are very flexible in regards to that, and we'll discuss that later. What you can also do, you can integrate SAP in a central SIEM solution, for example. You can do email alerting in real time. You can do forensic analysis. There are a lot of things you can do there. Yeah. And this is also like the if you look at the fourth stage, it's more or less this slide. So you have on the left side a lot of satellite systems you have in scope with, it can of course be on-prem, any-prem, so SAP NetWeaver, for example, SAP S4 systems, any SAP system, doesn't matter where it's hosted. Of course, we can also monitor databases. So for example, HANA database or cloud solutions. Yeah. And we are collecting there a lot of logs. So you can define which logs you want to collect in real time, but also which checks you want to run. So not everything for us, and this is also very cool for our solutions, is done by logs, but also via written checks, where you can check for example, are your systems and clients changeable? Are there any parameters, profile parameters changed in real time? Stuff which is not really accessible in logs, you can check via in real time in tables. So this is also cool because we did all the work already. We built checks for vulnerabilities. We built checks for compliance issues, and we made them available in real time. Yeah, and this is done via Xiting Security Architect and Xiting SIEM Connector. This is more or less the heart of the solution. And also, this is the software which will get deployed on a central system. So you can run them on your system. You can also, of course, run them via a hoster. And this is very easily deployed either by a transport or via Saint. And then you can run those solutions and have multiple use cases and processes going on. So we have three main use cases. So on the first is of course, the real-time monitoring. So threat detection, vulnerability monitoring, and compliance monitoring. You can really run those either via our solutions. So you have full solutions from us. It's running as well in the BTP. It's called Xiting Security Platform. This is the upper part here. And we have our own front end for analyzing threats, for analyzing vulnerability issues, compliance issues, and dashboards there as well. So you can run it as an SAP full solution, or you can run it. This is the part with the threat detection with SIEM integration. You can run it our solution as well as a middleware. So if you have already a so-called SIEM solution in place, so a big application neutral monitoring system. They are called SIEM, Security Information Event Management. And something like, for example, Microsoft Sentinel or Splunk or Elastic Stack, and you maybe also connected other applications to them. You can run our solutions as a middleware to send all the alerts regarding threats, regarding vulnerability issues, regarding vulnerabilities, regarding compliance issues to the external SIEM system. So this is also something we recommend. So to either run our software as a middleware or run our software as a full solution. You can actually also do both at the same time. We also have some customers doing that, but this is something you can, make it your own. Yeah. The third part is log collection forwarding. This is also something which is quite nice to have. It's maybe not the main use case. For some customers, it's also the main use case, but you can also collect logs. So, of course, for the threat detection, there are a lot of logs collected, but they are not like the end product. They are more like the necessary for the means, right? To collect those logs and look with patterns for specific threats. But sometimes it also makes sense to collect those logs for either for data protection laws. So there are some data protection laws in Switzerland, but also more and more are coming into other Europe countries which will tell you, oh, you need to collect some logs in some format regarding, for example, personal data. For at least 1 year, for example. This could be one use case. And the other use case could also be, of course, if you want to do forensic work on logs. So you have maybe some threats going on or some vulnerability issues going on. And you maybe want to look later on at some specific time, a month ago, 2 months ago, was there something going on in the logs? So you have those logs collected, and or you can also forward them to an external system. This is also a possibility, and to later do forensic work on that. Yeah. So you see there are a lot of use cases, a lot of variables you can run our solutions. So this is not like, of course, we have best practices for everything. So if we talk about our real-time monitoring, so threat detection, vulnerabilities, we have nearly 150 pre-built patterns and vulnerability checks you can build on, like you can use initially and can build upon. So you can also customize those, of course, and make them your own, or those are as well, of course, open frameworks. So you can, of course, build your own patterns. Also, you don't have to be a developer to do that. We have a workbench where you can build your own patterns and make them your own. Yeah. And this is the different use cases with our tools and tool suites. Different processes you can run. So normally those processes are run by a so-called security operations center. So you can think about, do you already have something like that in place? Then maybe threat detection with the SIEM integration is the right way for you. So to integrate your whole SAP landscape to your operations center, which is already in place. That's a good thing. If you don't have such a thing in place, maybe you only want to start with SAP firsthand, then you can use our full suite and build an operations center around that. So there are multiple ways for you, depending on which, of course, is your stage at the moment, and depending what are your requirements, right? Regarding the architecture, this is also something which we normally talk about with our customers if we are planning a proof of concept or planning an implementation with you. And this is also something we are quite flexible on the one hand, but also if we also bring you with a lot of plug and play software and configuration. So you can run our best practices very easily. And this is also normally the way our customers are doing it. So they will run our standard implementation and best practices, and then they will make it their own. So, and if you are running our plug and play solutions, you are very quickly set up. So the heart of the solution is an SAP system. You can think about which system you want to use there. Some of our customers are using something like a solution manager, for example, because it already has a central monitoring role in their landscape. But this is really also up to you, which system you want to use and connect your other systems to. But you would deploy our software either via transport, or if it's hosted from SAP, would deploy it with Saint. Then most of the vulnerability checks, as well as the patterns, they are coming with the transports, the pre-built ones, so you can use them already. There's maybe a little bit of configuration which you need. So you need to have some RFC destinations to your satellite systems, for example. You have to plan in some background jobs which we are doing the work to do the real-time monitoring, right? This is mostly done by automatic background jobs, but this is all stuff which is done in let's say 1 day. So to build up a central system and to connect maybe, let's say, 3 to 5 satellite systems to just build the architecture, it's done in 1 to 2 days. And you can think about what you want to connect. You can connect, of course, other ABAP systems. So S4HANA, for example, or BW system, or HCM, or whatever you want. You can also, of course, connect HANA databases. This is also something which is quite interesting from a security standpoint, to analyze the HANA audit log, for example, but also check for vulnerabilities. So if you have your privileges correctly configured, if you have your HANA profiles correctly configured in a secure manner, this is all stuff we can monitor centrally. And as well, some customers also connect their legacy Java systems. Of course, they have an end of life, but if you're still using them in a productive manner, you can still also connect those. And we also can analyze logs there and can do vulnerability checks and compliance checks there. And if you have done those work to connect those satellite systems to your central system, you can think about, okay, what do you want to do now with the log collection and the threat detection? So our threat detection then is running in the central system. So for example, your solution manager, and it really runs on existing hardware. So you don't need to upgrade anything or deploy an additional HANA database or something like that. It can really run on existing hardware, because all those log collection is done in a parallel way. So the central system will ask each satellite system, okay, can you send me data for the last 1, 2, 3 seconds? And then maybe it will send 1,000 lines, and the central system, depending on the settings, will keep the data maybe for 1 hour or 2 hours, or maybe also long time. But in that case, it will save it on the file system and will not keep it in the memory. And he will analyze it for the threats. And then if you have a threat or a vulnerability or a compliance issue, you have different possibilities to follow up in that regard. So of course you can use something like an email adapter. So we have an built-in email adapter, so you can already send some warnings or alerts via email to a distribution list, for example. You can, of course, store the data, as I said, on a file system, either from the SAP itself or an external file system. mainly for forensic use cases or those data protection laws. And of course, one of the main processes or main ways is to connect a security operations center. This is most of the time done via a so-called SIEM system. So you would connect your SIEM system. We connect all kinds of SIEM systems, so we don't have any restrictions there. This can be done by syslog, for example. This is a very a famous, I would say the most famous way to do it, to do push communication via syslog. But you can also do it file-based, for example, to have a parser on a file in some cases. But most of the time it will be, we will push the data to your SIEM system via syslog. And yeah, this is something you can do. And of course, especially bigger customers are doing it because it's really also beneficial to have such an application neutral SIEM system, and to really think about cybersecurity in a general way, right? Because really cyber attacks are not starting in an SAP system. Yeah, they will start on a network level, they will start on operation system level, and then they will go to your applications. So then after he maybe has access to your operation system, he tries to get access to your SAP system. And in that case, you will also really benefit from connecting multiple applications as well as operation systems, network stack, and so on, to really have a whole overview over your landscapes. But if you don't have such a system in place, you can still run our solutions as a full, or our software as a full solution. Then you would use the so-called cloud adapter. This is something you can use on the one hand to connect our front ends, our dashboards, because they are running in the cloud. We are using the business technology platform from SAP for that, to give you access to a so-called SAP SIEM solution. Yeah, so you can send the data there, yeah, and build a SAP operation center around it. Or you can also use the so-called cloud adapter, and this is also the next slide here, to really connect also all your cloud applications. So there are two use cases for the so-called Xiting security platform, which is a solution from us, which runs on the BTP. And we will use it to connect stuff like the BTP itself, so BTP audit log, BTP application log, S4 cloud security log, but also, of course, other cloud applications like ERS, Concur, SuccessFactors, Ariba, and so on, and Analytics Cloud, and so on. Yeah. Of course, XSP is also not just a security monitoring solution. We'll also do other use cases there, to do risk analysis, to have a central identity store, and so on. But for today, we focus on security monitoring. And we are also doing it for cloud applications or for hybrid landscapes. So this is also something you can use our suite for, to connect those systems. Yeah. Good. Just to make a quick summary, to give you everything I said now in one slide, and maybe also for you to think about it. If you want to run a proof of concept with us, feel free, of course, to contact us in regards to that. But we have now 2-3 years of experience in building up those architectures and building up those solutions. And we really, with very different customers, with different requirements, we nearly always make it in 3 days. Yeah, so we build up a proof of concept with a central system, with 3 to 5 satellite systems, with connection to your SIEM system, if you like. This is no problem. Yeah, so because we have a very easy installation of our tool suite, of our architecture, with the predefined best practices. And this is also something our customers normally how they will start. Yeah, so they will try to enhance our best practices and afterwards will make it their own. So you can start with our pre-built patterns, for example, for the threat detection, and really then enhance those, because sometimes it really makes also sense to enhance those patterns to really eliminate some false positives, for example. So maybe there is some debugging and replace going on, but you don't want to get highlighted with debugging and replace with your firefighter user. So you want to build maybe an allow list for this pattern to say, yes, some users are allowed for that. And this is something where you can really make those things your own then. Yeah. And yeah, so as I said, it's a very easy installation. The solution can run on existing hardware, so you don't need to set up any new hardware, so you don't have any costs there. And of course, also you save time. You don't need to build up any additional architecture or additional systems. The log collectors are very easy. They are more or less plug and play. So if you install our software and build up the background jobs for the log extractions, they already know what to do. Yeah, so you will just need to tell them, I want to extract security audit log, I want to extract HANA audit log, I want to extract maybe system log, application log, change log, DB-tab log, and so on and so on. And normally these log collectors know what to do. Of course, you can customize those as well. So if you want to say, I want to have the security audit log extracted, but only from clients 100, 200, 300, and only from users with namespace Z, for example, you can do stuff like that. Yeah. And it's not a big deal either, right? Yeah, as well, of course, the threat detection with the predefined patterns, they are more or less also plug and play. You can run them with our pre-built settings, and you can make them your own then afterwards to really give them more information about maybe allow lists, block lists, watch lists. You can work with different variables there. We have an open framework, an open workbench where you can develop, of course, also your own patterns quite easily. And this is something we bring into the proof of concept. So we can really start very quickly. Yeah. And you can think about, of course, what use cases and processes you want to run. Depending on that, we implement those. So, for example, do you want to monitor vulnerabilities? So, for example, a lot of authorization topics, critical profiles, segregation of duties. Are your authorizations SU24 compliant? Stuff like that in authorization regards, but also, of course, system security topics. So how are your RFC destinations configured? How secure are they? Do you have your gateways securely configured? How are your profile parameters looking? Is your client changeability correctly implemented? Stuff like that. We can analyze, and we can analyze in real time. Yeah. So if somebody changes your security audit log, for example, to change the filters in the security audit log, to change or to completely shuts it off, yeah, and the audit log cannot report on itself anymore. So an attacker will shut it off, and the audit log cannot report on itself anymore. We will find it out via these vulnerability checks. So we will check on a table level, how is your profile rec client, or how is your profile parameter AirSAU enable, I think it's called. Is it correctly configured? If not, so your security audit log may be compromised. Yeah. And this is something where we really not only have like basic log analyzers, but we really try to also cover black spots there. Yeah, to figure out if somebody messes as well with your defenses, with your logs. And yeah, compliance issues and of course threats. Yeah, if you're talking about security monitoring, most of the time we will think about threat detection, but it's really important to also keep the other topics in mind. Yeah, it's really beneficial for you. Yeah, can be used in hybrid landscapes, connect to multiple different satellite systems. Yeah, think about it, what you want to connect, think about what is interesting for you, what are systems you want to secure, of course, normally productive systems. And we can talk about it in a proof of concept to maybe figure out 2, 3, 4, 5 systems which we connect in such a proof of concept. Yeah. You can use it in multiple scenarios, our solutions. So full solutions, we talked about it. You don't need an existing architecture. You don't need an existing SIEM solution. You can also run our tools in a full solution. Of course, it will be based, or it will be for SAP tools or SAP systems, but you can also run it as a middleware. Yeah, so integrate your whole SAP landscape to an external SIEM. This is an opportunity or an option, and you can also use this for log collection or log forwarding. So as we talked about, forensic use cases and data protection. Yeah. As well, if you want to connect an external SIEM, we are also quite flexible there. So we didn't have any customer who we couldn't connect this SIEM system to. So as I said, normally it's done via push communication. We send the messages via syslog. We can also do it file-based to have a parser in place where it's parsing a file, for example. And there are a lot of different message formats supported. So you can send the messages in CEF, it's Common Event Format. You can send them in JSON. You can send them in XML. There's nearly everything covered. Yeah. Especially what's also important if we're talking about proof of concept, if we're talking about solution. For us, there are no volume-based license costs. This is also something in that regard, security monitoring and other solution provider are doing volume-based license costs, and it can get costly quite quickly. Yeah, this is not what we are doing. So there are no volume-based or hidden license costs. Yeah. So this is also something, if you connect an external SIEM system, you can use us as a middleware and run our threat detection and can only send the finished messages, the finished threats to those license-based, volume-based license tools as a Sentinel, for example, to really minimize license costs. Yeah, this is also something you can think about where you can enhance our tool suite. Yeah, and as I said now multiple times, we can do a proof of concept with you very easily. It's done very quickly and also very cost efficient. You get licenses for free if you are doing a proof of concept with us. We deliver you all with all the licenses, and it's in Europe, it's done for 4,500 euro. I think we can do the same in dollar. And yeah, that's it. So feel free to leave some questions for me if you like. But in the meantime, I will jump a little bit, maybe 5 to 10 minutes in our system and show you a little bit around, maybe with one use case, one attack or something like that. So what I have done, let me switch to my screen. Add to stage. So I think I'm on my screen now. So I'm in my system. So this is a satellite system where I have connected to my central system. So this is an S4, for example, now, where maybe some business users are working. And yeah, what can they do? Maybe they will use something like a debugger to stuff. If you're familiar with the debugger, you can do nearly everything with it. So you can, if you are good with the debugger, you can analyze get nearly all the data in your system, and you can also work around every authorization check and also manipulate data So for example, I will activate the debugger and will run some maybe debug and replace there. So for example, I have an authority check going on somewhere here in the code. And I will have a return code for that authority check, and I will manipulate the return code. In that case, I will make it negative, but of course you can think about, you can do it also the other way around. I will save it. Yep, should run. And I will run the program. This is very harmless report, which I just run. It's the RS USR 003. And you can do already a lot of nasty things with the RS USR 003, because the RS USR 003, it analyzes the table USR02, where all the user data is stored. So what you can already do in the debugger, for example, is to find exactly that select where the USR02 is analyzed, and can jump into the select and see all the internal data, internal table of the USR02, for example. So this is not to be messed around. Yeah. Also, if you maybe use some very critical function modules. So for example, I have this BAP user profiles assign, where you can assign profiles, authorization profiles to, or authorization profiles to a user, either locally or of course also remotely. And so for example, I can assign myself in this system now locally sub all, for example. And can run it. Profile assignment for user has changed. And of course, this is also something, these are very obvious attacks, but sometimes it's attackers will really enhance multiple things to get what they want. So they try to, first-hand get access to your system, so either via brute force, for example, and then they will try to use either insecure function modules. This is where something very often used, insecure function modules with missing authorization checks, for example, or some other execution things like debugger, for example, or OS commands. This is also something to really enhance the authorizations, as I just did with the BAP user profiles assign, for example. And those things you can then, I'm signed out, can then analyze with our tool suite. So I'm now in the so-called Xiting security platform, which is running on the business technology platform. And I here have now on the one side an overview dashboard where I should see the detected threats from today. So I already have some detected threats today, for example, also high severity, assignment of authorizations to own user. I have detected some instances, debugging, but also blocklisted function modules. I also, maybe I also have some medium severity threats going on. Yeah, also had some medium threats, severity threats going on, sensitive transaction code, and also vulnerabilities. So this is also something I activated. So we are at the moment now checking for critical profiles. So this is also something which should be highlighted with the SAP all, right? And also other stuff which is monitored in the system. And I can also, of course, look at the data. So for example, the debugging, I will have a look. So I will jump to the details. And there should be exactly use of debugger and change of field by user Mark Spitzer. SUSUB equals 12. This was changed. But also what I did was the use of block-listed function module. This is also something the BAPI profiles assign. Exactly here. There was some other instances going on as well, but here is the BAPI user profiles assign. And let's see, what else do we have now? Assignment of authorization to own user, because I did run the function module and I assigned authorizations to my own user. Yeah, and I can also jump into the details and see what was going on, to see the original messages which lead to the threat with the severity. And yeah, this is something you can build up to and very easily build up to get the threats, to get also the vulnerabilities. So for example, check for critical profiles. We now have the check for critical profiles running. 80 users with critical profiles in our system. You can also see the details here. So he will also deliver you the details which users are at the moment having SAP all or other critical profiles. And you can do different things here to, of course, look at the severity. There are also detected threats by severity or vulnerability by severity, or you can also do something like a timeline or high severity vulnerability. So there are different cards you can run here to make also this monitoring dashboard your own. You can also, of course, set filters and stuff. So yeah, this is our front end, but of course you can also connect a front end like Sentinel or Splunk or stuff like that. Yeah, then that's the demo. And let's see, do we have some questions? Maybe Alexander, you can help me with that.
No, actually, we don't. I think everything was pretty clear. I haven't seen any questions. If anything that comes up, you have our contact details. Maybe we add them once again. You can always visit us on xiting.com for any questions you have. If you go through our website, there's different contact pages to contact either Mark or myself or anyone else of our team. And with that, thank you very, very much, Mark. It was a great session.
Thank you.
For everyone watching, thank you very much for your time and looking forward to the next session. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice day.